Hello everybody. This video is on trading, and the question I'd like to answer at the end of this video is, what is the best trading course for a beginner trader? So over the last several months I've been looking up on the internet and participating in some of the courses, and I'd like to get to it and share my findings of what's out there that's great and some of the things that's not so great. And so let's get right into it. So the first one in the list of people who I have followed and watched is Ricky Gutierrez. The name of his website is seen here. It's the TechBud Solutions. He's a 24-year-old businessman, and he's a day trader, business owner. He's into cars, and there's a lot of fan following. He's got a number of YouTube videos. I'm sure you guys have looked at it, and some good content that he posts. I am a member of what he presents as a Learn, Plan, Profit group, and so it's I would say a basic entry-level beginner course, and I found value in some of the content that he shared here. It spoke about the charting techniques, which broker to use. He uses a Thinkorswim platform. He speaks about swing trading as well as ETFs. So the information here is decent for somebody who's just beginning. The biggest bang for buck here, of course, is this Learn, Plan, Profit Discord group. I am a member of that, and I find immense value. And one of the things that he does really well is to have a morning chat library where he posts. There is a live session on each day that we are trading, where he takes ticker symbols from the team members and walks through it and sees why it's a good trade or not. His technique and his setup is very disciplined. He follows it to the T, encourages other people to follow, and his advice is very wise. For me, it was a really good reminder. Just because the setup is great doesn't mean it'll go in your favor, and you also don't take in trades where you cannot tolerate the losses. And so that was a good reminder for me, and he says that almost every single session. So some good wise words from Ricky. I go there from time to time to get information, and the Discord group itself has a lot of people chatting here, and there's some good information. So overall, I feel like this is a decent one to go with and start trading with. The second one I'd like to talk a little bit more about is ZipTrader U, and Charlie is this guy. Grandpa Charlie is what he calls himself. Really funny guy, humorous, pretty intense, I would say. Lots of YouTube videos. There's a bit of information about himself. He's very passionate about market. Many great things I love about ZipTrader. I am also part of his group, and I went and joined his course as well, the ZipTrader U. Right off the bat, I'd say that the quality and the amount of information that's in his course curriculum is a lot more comprehensive. He talks about a number of things about having a certain mindset, different platforms you want to work on, what's out there. He talks a fair bit about indicators and patterns and goes into the details of it. Techniques. What I really like is he talks about how you set up a plan step by step, position sizing, what is the time frame you should choose. And the one that appeals to me most about Charlie and ZipTrader is he focuses on fundamentals as well. And so for people who are working on technical analysis, they tend to focus on just the technical analysis, but understanding what's behind it in terms of fundamentals and the earnings play and what's in the news actually does benefit. And he also talks a lot about biotech stocks and EVs, and shows a bit about the scanner setup. So overall, I found this to be very useful, and I continue to go into this area. His Discord group is also pretty awesome. You can see that in his Discord group, he's got a number of different topics. The one thing I really like about Charlie is, and I'm showing one here, is his morning briefing. And what he does is he outlines all the things that's happening in that particular day. There is also a zip list that he does the previous day. Probably the most value add for me, because I have a full-time job, and sometimes I don't have the luxury of watching through half hour, 45 minutes or of somebody's video walking through it. And so once you know the technique, you understand what you're looking at, this type of analysis is very useful. He talks about what is the market generally looking like, what are the momentum plays, what are his targets for a given day. Always a notable mention about EVs. He talks about longer term plays, and there's always this disclaimer saying, hey, this is what I see, do your own research. And really, really good insights, and I continue to enjoy reviewing that. And the important thing is you take bits and pieces of people who are bringing courses to you, and then create your own signature blueprint style of what you want to do, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So definitely would recommend ZipTrader for people who are looking for it. Now, one of the things that comes to my mind is when I'm watching somebody's YouTube video, one of the things I ask myself, am I inspired to trade more, or am I feeling overwhelmed after I see this video? I see so many people out there, they have so much information that they share, there's so many details, and within those details, you miss the key points. And there are more concepts that they're introducing, and they introduce new software and different tools, they focus on a lot of things. And so when the next two people I'm going to talk about are people who make it simple, right? As a beginner trader, you want things to be crisp, and if a lot of data is thrown at you, your ability to absorb them would be diminished greatly. And so there's this YouTube channel called Master the Market, and there's this guy called Travis Rose, not very well known, I would say. But I found surprisingly some of his videos were very, very simple. He has got not a lot of videos out there, but very nicely explained. He's got these series, part 1 to part 5 or 6, and he talks about it. And the one thing that I really appreciated about this is he talks about what I would call as the tape reading. So for about $99, he offers a number of courses. And the one that really helped me understand a little bit more about is this Learn to Trade with Tape Reading. So if you're into intraday trading, you need to understand how to actually review the tapes. And so he's got examples of tape reading and quizzes around it, and so it was quite useful for me to get into that and understand tape reading. So I highly recommend you guys check out Master the Market and follow for something that's as inexpensive as this. The last person I wanted to talk about in this series was Matt Diamond. Here's a guy who does not have a Discord or is not trying to sell products. There's something about people who are doing it from the goodness of their heart and sharing and by the passion that they have. And he's not there telling, buy my merchandise, here's another cup you need to buy, join the family, nothing like that. He is a scalper by profession, and what I really, really appreciate about his videos are they are bottom line, right? Even for me, an example of bottom lining something is tell me in 30 seconds or less why this stock is a good play. And here's the 1, 2, and 3 reasons for it. And that's what this guy does. He's concise, he's crisp, and it's very, very clear. There's no bullshit. So he goes in and says pre-market high, I'm looking at previous day's high, here are the 3 indicators, I go in, I go out. Very, very clear. You can't go wrong. And so I really, really am inspired by Matt, and you can see the comments that he gets from people, also very great. But he's a scalper, and so it's another type of trading style that perhaps may not be suitable for some people. And this is a time where I'm exploring all different options. And so definitely Matt Diamond, highly, highly recommend that you guys have a look at his as well. Now that we've gone through some of those trading courses, the question still remains, what is the best trading course for beginners? And I'm going to answer that with a bit of context. And so one of the ways of looking at this is to see the stock market as a black box. There are people who are buying and selling billions of dollars worth of shares, and you are bringing your own signature and blueprint to it. And it took me a long time to understand this, but I always thought if somebody is trading profitably and consistently, I could just follow them, right? And if they're willing to teach that for a fee, I'd just follow them because I'd be open to trying whatever and make money. But the reality is that never works. Even if they send you alerts and you try and follow them, it's definitely not a long-term solution. And the reasons why they don't follow are exactly the reasons that have helped me in my own journey. So I'm going to conclude it with 4 things that have mattered to me in my journey. And these 4 things are far more important than the countless hours that I have spent or people have spent as beginner traders looking at patterns and charts and tools and layering on different things. And the 4 things are all to do with self reflection and improving on your psychology of trading. The first one is your attitude towards money. And so your association with wealth, your attitude towards money has a huge impact, and it influences the way you trade. That was number 1. And that's why it's different for different people. Number 2, your level of tolerance. Risk tolerance is one that is spoken about, but it takes a long time to understand as you really watch your hard-earned money go down or you're making money. And so the level of tolerance and watching it and being comfortable with it is something that we have to learn. You have to experience it. You can know it conceptually, but you have to learn it experientially. The third thing is awareness, and this is really underrated. There is this emotional triggers within ourselves that come up as you see losses. You go into a high if you're making, you become bold, or you try and withdraw from the market. And so, and your limbic brain knocks out the working brain when you are starting to lose money. Emotions play a huge part. Really, it's your association with fear, and there's fear and greed in the market. They're in tug of war with each other that shows up within yourself. And so the level of awareness is super important. So I paid attention to how am I feeling right now? What, on a scale of 0 to 10, where is my level of awareness? The last one that has really mattered to me is extreme ownership. And so this is that shows up for me in terms of an accountability play. And so if there is a reason why a stock has gone down or lost money, I take the time to analyze it and then learn from it. And so these are the 4 things that have actually mattered to me and that has helped me be profitable over the last 3 to 4 months. So I hope you found some value in what I have shared today as a beginner trader. Please leave your comments and ask any questions you have of me, and like the videos if you found it to be valuable. Until next time, stay safe.